Hi, this is Niyanta Spelman with Rainforest Partnership, bringing to you Our Planet, Our Future, a video podcast presented by Rainforest Partnership. Find us at www.rainforestpartnership.org and on social media. Join us as we bring interesting and compelling guests to talk about the environment, climate change, and rainforests. I'm Niyanta Spelman with Rainforest Partnership, bringing to you Our Planet, Our Future. Here with me is Lily Rodriguez of CIMA, which is based here in Lima, Peru, and it's an organization that's done amazing work. Lily is the founder and the current president, and she actually is passionate about many things, about preserving forests. And she, in fact, came back to Peru recently to take back the sort of reclaim first-hand work, as it were, in a way, by being here in Lima. And we're here at the initiative 20 by 20, the meeting of partners, which is about restoring 20 million hectares of forests by 2020 in Latin America and the Caribbean. So welcome, Lily.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you've been doing with CIMA and what CIMA is. I asked you a lot of questions.
Yeah, that's a lot of questions. So let's say first that CIMA is the Center for Conservation, Research and Management of Wild Areas, Wilderness.
Yes.
And so our intention always has been to work not only in protected areas, but especially in the buffer zone. So the surroundings of the protected areas to ensure high protection for core areas like Cordillera Azul National Park, which is 1.5 million hectares. That's 13,000 kilometers and square kilometers, and the buffer zone is 20,000 square kilometers. So this is a quite big area where you can find everything you wish as problems to solve. And so challenging work, that very committed team we have in the field. We have 4 offices around the park in 4 different departments or regions of Peru. That means that we have to do a lot of political work with different types of people, and we have from indigenous people on the Ucayali side to immigrants coming from the highlands, from the Andes, people that are not used to the Amazon and to the forest. And so one of the main challenges is deforestation. I personally have a fight against deforestation, and one of the things we are doing is we just started a project about forest restoration, but knowing that we have people in the area, we cannot believe that we could convert everything into forest again. So we do.
There's a balance.
Yes. So we are working on this landscape ecological restoration. So for instance, if you have a pasture and you have bees, native bees, they travel no more than 50 meters. That means that if you want to have this pasture functioning for pollination,
right,
you need to have trees at least every 50 meters, which is not too many.
No, it's still pretty good spacing, yes.
Yes, and so we believe that it would be easier to do that than
asking them to do a complete reforestation.
Yes.
So it's sort of baby steps, as it were.
Yeah.
Something that's palatable, something that they can understand.
Yeah, that can ensure that there are some benefits for nature, these ecosystem services that come through your pasture.
Yes.
And we believe that will convince the people it's not that difficult to do it.
Yes. So a lot of education.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know a lot of trust. It's very important. when you are in the field, that you can have this relationship with the local people, so they trust you, they believe that what you say is true and you are going to do things. So this is something that we have been building. We work on this area since 2003 in the field. So people know that we are there and we will be there.
That you're serious and that you're committed and you're going to stay.
Yes, and we actually have a formal commitment with the government. We have a 20 years contract to run the park, and we still have 10 more years to go with the current contract.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that means keeping really good relationships with the...
Yeah. I mean, we cannot mess with the people because we have to stay there.
Yes, of course. What made you get... Why protection of forests? What made you want to do this?
I don't know. I have been working since I was 21. I'm a biologist, and I have been working in the rainforest since then. And I guess my father he came from the rainforest to Lima and got married, and my mother forbidden him to go back.
So you had to go back.
And I think it's a wonderful ecosystem, one of the wonders of nature. I just spent 5 years in Germany.
Yes.
And living in Germany it's okay. It's very good. People are nice. They have a lot of forests. They have 40% of the country's forests, but it's all planted. And
it's very different.
That's the difference. And that's the difference. They have very few species, temperate forests, but in the 8 species they have in the forest, 2 of them come from America. So it's not the natural forest. So I think that this is a treasure we have here in the Amazon in general, not only in Peru. And we really are not aware of the responsibility we have to keep these forests alive.
And that's part of what you want to do.
Yes, but the challenge is that people need something to live.
Yes.
So we are moving now. We started working a lot on conservation and planning and land use and all of that. And now we are moving into more practical stuff. And it is very challenging because you need investment.
Right.
And so now we have private investors investing in the management of the park with this RED project, but we also have this money to invest in the buffer zone for small business with the local people. And so this is the new path for us for funding conservation, which is not only conservation, it's production also.
Creating income sources, which is what we're doing. And one of the reasons we were in the buffer zone is because of the work you did. Right? With the project, that was the whole idea.
Yeah, and also because there was some research before.
You did a lot of research, and others did research.
Yeah. So this is a combination, so we believe on this combination. You can have the passion, but you need some research, information, and you need partners.
Yes.
Because it's not true that you can do things alone.
Very few people succeed in the long term when they just try to work by themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's too much to be done, and to really do it well.
Yeah.
We have to partner. Yeah.
We have to partner, and partnership brings also other new ideas and things to collaborate. And it's I'm enjoying the meeting now because everyone when you talk, you get new information and new ideas and
new ways to collaborate. I think.
Yes.
You and I were talking about how interesting this group, so dedicated. 12 hours later, everybody was still in that room listening to the panels.
Yeah, crazy people.
7:30, passionate people, right?
Yeah, it's good to have these meetings in person.
Yes. And it's nice to know of each other, nice to be able to talk on Skype and phone and remotely, and yet it's nice to be able to bond as well and share experiences.
Yes. And what is nice here is that we have also people from governments.
Yes.
And the private sector, the investors are here.
Different countries.
Different countries, different realities. All these Central American countries are pretty small, very different from Brazil.
Brazil, that
Peru.
was just talking now. Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
What was the biggest thing that shocked you about moving back to Peru? Because even though it's your home and you've lived here and you've grown up here, moving back full time, because you remember in Bonn during COP23 you said, I realized that my country needs help, that I need to be doing this in Peru and I'm moving back. That's what you said to me.
Yes. Well, I guess that there are some people that like this dangerous sport and need some challenge. And I'm one of those, but not on sport, but at work.
And you wanted the challenge once again.
Yeah, and it has been always very challenging. So when we made the park, the national park, we had this challenge. The minister told us, you have 3 months to make the park. We did it in 7 weeks.
Which is pretty incredible, and you had to find places where nobody was living.
Yeah.
That was a big commitment, that you had to find parts where you weren't going to kick anybody out.
Yeah, no.
And that was really important.
No, we tried to be very careful about people.
Yes.
When we were making the park, and we draw the limits of the park on a satellite image.
Yes.
And the problem is that sometimes you have clouds.
Yes. Above the forest, often you have clouds, yes.
So we did the best we could, and we excluded all the little farms. We didn't care about titling or anything, but we just put everyone outside and made the park. And then the next year we made an overflight, and we flew over this cloud area, and there were cows underneath.
Oh no.
Fortunately, last year they left the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well,
peaceful.
Congratulations on
Thank
that.
you.
Yes, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that was one mistake. And then when we were making the park, the law at the time was that you could have forest contract for 1,000 hectares for 1 year. And they were 32 in this region. And so we said, what do? Do we kick them off right now? Do we make holes in the park so that they are excluded?
Yes.
And we said, no, we allow them to take the timber until the contract ends, but we made the park and then they will leave. And this is very important because first we didn't have any fight with the foresters.
Yeah.
We honored the contracts, and there was no deforestation.
Yes.
See, that's a very peaceful and friendly way to deal with people working with wood, and it's okay, it will regrow.
Yes.
And because it's selective, they only take a few trees. In a hectare, you have about 500 or 600 trees, and they were probably taking 5 or let's say 10.
Yeah, it was all selective logging.
Let's say 20. I mean, you still have 580 trees staying there.
Right.
So it's not that bad.
You were just picking your fights on that, and you decided that you were going to honor the contracts, let things be peaceful, and send a message, right?
Yeah.
In how to manage that kind of transition.
Yeah.
From sort of a land that didn't belong to anybody to something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, there are many stories like that.
Do you obviously you like telling those stories because that's part of who you are and part of your legacy and part of your work for all these years.
Yeah, I was very lucky because when I came back from my doctorate in 92, the German cooperation was starting a project to write the national plan for protected areas.
Yes.
And so I was very lucky to be hired. And we worked for about 3 years on writing, I mean, not writing, but having meetings with everyone.
And so you actually had all that work already done, and
that became the law.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so in 97, and in 2001, at the same time we made the park, the law became enacted.
And so you could actually go and do something about it.
And I knew exactly how to do the park.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is why you could do it in 7 weeks.
In 7 weeks. Yeah.
Did you think they expected that you would be able to do that?
No, but that was good because many people in government were actually friends of mine. And I don't know if we can say, because there was a forestry concession inside the park.
Oh, wow.
That was not operating yet. So I came and talked to the director of forestry and told him, look, we need to move the park because then we can put the tail of the little condor, the shape of the park. And he said, I cannot do that. But if you like, I can call the owner of this concession, you talk to him, and if he accepts, I do it.
Yes.
So he called the person. It was a British man with a policeman, a Peruvian. And they came and we had a meeting and we said, look, we can move your concession. This is not a good area. It was actually some swampy area.
So it wasn't even very
good
useful.
for forestry. We can move it outside here. And we had already made the calculations, and they moved.
Yeah. So you were telling me about the concession that was on that area, inside the national park area, and then how you managed when the policeman and the owner came, and then
we convinced him. I convinced him that it will be a very good idea to move, and then the forestry director did it, and we moved the concession, and that was perfect for the park. So we could put the tail in the park. The only problem was that cloud I told you about.
Yes, that you had all these satellite images, but you didn't know what it looked like under the cloud.
Under the cloud, and there were these cattle and. Yeah, but now they are off the park after 15 years.
Okay,
with a good arrangement. Yeah. So we didn't have to pay though.
You didn't?
No.
So that's even a bigger win-win.
Yes.
So you have figured out so many different things on how to work, how to make something so colossal as this national park come into being, where it was a figment of your imagination, basically. And we had a young woman here get excited about, she was almost in tears, basically, because she's motivated and moved by the kinds of work that women leaders are doing.
Yes.
And it's that determination.
Yeah.
Where did that determination come from?
I don't know. I don't know. I guess is this conviction on keeping alive these forests that are kind of unique. When you live in Europe and you realize that all these forests are planted, then you know the value of the forests we have here that are natural and have much more diversity and value, and there is people living on the forest, and so I guess that's the force driving us. Yeah.
And then, so you've come back, you're here, you're working on the forest. What else do you want to do in the next 10 years of your life?
The next 10 years I want to make the park, from the park to the rivers, which are on the buffer zone, restoration.
Yes.
And forest management, and try to come back to these uses of forest.
Oh, and sort of in harmony with the forest and making it so that the people can live there.
And making it sustainable so that people can still have good quality of life, and we can all win with the conservation of the forest and all these benefits from nature that we can have. Yeah.
Well, earlier you were telling me if you could tell the world what your dreams were for the world, what you would want for CIMA to achieve, or what you would want people in the world to do, what would that be?
I don't know. I guess we need to work very hard to get this forest there always. We want to make them sustainable and have this sustainable development that is so hard to get in reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you talked about how there were 3 reasons, you said, why people should be doing this, why people should care about the environment.
Yeah. Well, I guess we need environment. We need to keep the value of nature with us, and we need to transfer this to the next generation. And so I guess that we need to have these partnerships with other institutions and the local people also, and the politicians, so that we all get together to the same ideas on how these areas could be sustainable.
We talked about World Rainforest Day. This idea that we partner and get people all around the world to care about forests. You and I are fortunate enough to get to see the forest and to learn and
work on the same geographical area, more or less.
Yes. And we get to know why it's so beautiful and why it's so worth saving.
Yeah.
How do we get others to care about it and join us?
I guess we have to tell the stories around, as we just did today, and make people aware of, even if you don't have a forest close to your house, you need to visit the forest, you need to understand the value of this forest, and maybe come to visit the Cordillera Azul National Park, or the buffer zone, or Peru, or other forests, wherever you go. And but especially keep in mind that these natural forests are the best way to go for the next generation.
Well, that's wonderful. My guest has been Lily Rodriguez, founder and current president of CIMA, based here in Lima, Peru. And of course, CIMA manages Cordillera Azul, which is this incredible natural protected area that Lily was absolutely instrumental in creating. And it's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm Niyanta Spelman, Rainforest Partnership, and bringing you Our Planet, Our Future. Thank you for joining me, Lily.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Our Planet, Our Future, brought to you by Rainforest Partnership. From Niyanta Spelman and the Rainforest Partnership team, thank you for joining us.